This is the second best 20 minutes of your week.
Let it begin.
This is our topic of the week.
What is the topic of the week?
But you really gotta start reading our text messages.
This will be a surprise for you then.
You really don't know? Topic this week.
I'm so sorry. Like I said, I completely forgot I had the chat muted.
Topic this week. Our most embarrassing stories.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
He's like, I totally got this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you have a topic for us, submit it in the comments. And
I may have already told this story.
Well, no one listens. No one watches.
I've told the Breakfast Club story on the podcast.
Maybe on the old Gaming Without Parole.
Maybe on the old Game Without Parole.
Yeah, I don't know.
For real.
Solid story.
If you want us to talk about your topic, put it down below in the comments, and we will definitely get around to it eventually.
Yeah.
We were always doing this last minute, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's the Breakfast Club
Have you
story?
heard? You guys have
I
heard
don't
the
know.
Breakfast Club story.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't remember.
Tell us.
Let's
I'm not even gonna
bring it
stop
back
you.
to 2009. Fuckboy Brett. No, it wasn't 2009. It was about 3 years ago. I met this girl on Tinder, and I remember it was Thanksgiving, and so do you remember this story?
Is this the one where you met her at the bar?
No, different girl.
Okay.
Okay,
This is new to
so
me.
this was like 3 years ago. It was Thanksgiving. We were talking on Tinder, and she goes, "Hey, you should come over tonight." And I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm a fuckboy. I'll ditch my family on
serve you some
Thanksgiving, which
turkey.
I will never do now.
Yeah, it's stuffing.
I was an
You're
asshole
gonna
back
serve her
then.
some stuffing.
Yeah.
Go on.
Here's where the story's going. So,
yeah.
she,
And then maybe some cream pie. Sorry, keep going on. I'm sorry.
Fuckboy Brett.
And here's the
Yeah,
thing. So
fuck
here's the
my
thing.
Might
She
introduce
looked
you to Mel.
good-ish in the pictures. I'm not gonna say
Good-ish.
great. Good-ish.
Okay.
And I was like, you know what? I'll risk it. Shouldn't have risked it. So I drove all the way. I think it was in Leominster. Yeah, it was in Leominster.
Tough haul.
Tough
Leo
haul,
Minster.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I show up at her house, and right away I realized that those pictures were from 2009. Because she put on it. She probably had 50 pounds on me.
What?
And I mean, granted, I was probably like 20 pounds less than I was now.
Okay.
But still, math-wise.
Yeah. Was she tall, short? What was the deal?
She was
She was heavy, is what you're saying.
heavy. She was heavy.
Yeah.
Okay.
But she was probably like up to here, but she was heavy.
Oh.
No, I'm not that tall. I'm 6 feet.
Yeah.
So she was like, you're 6 feet, and she was that much. So she was like my height.
No, she was probably like 5'6".
Oh, a little taller than me. Everyone's tall.
Yeah, right.
All right, so here we go. So I go to her house, and
Someday.
I'm like, you know what? I fucking regret this decision already, but I'm already here.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not gonna you know what? I'll fucking I'm not gonna have sex with her. I'm just gonna stay here. And then she goes, all right, well, we have to drive my mom to Black Friday shopping because it was the day before.
What kind of date is this
Yeah.
shit?
Worst day
It's
ever.
getting guys. The story gets better. And
Worst by the second.
so we drive her mom to, I think it was Walmart, and I hope she's not watching this. She probably isn't. And
You still know her.
no, that's the thing. I haven't talked to her since the day.
She's
after.
not watching then.
And so then we go back to her house, and she's like, "What would you want to do?" She's like, "We can go in the bedroom." And I was like, we should probably watch a movie or something. Because she was like, well, I don't have a TV in my bedroom. So I was like, I'm in the clear. I'm like, we could just chill in the living room. So we started watching The Breakfast Club. Now, mind you, it was just me and her home, and then her older brother. And her older brother, I never met. He was somewhere off. He doesn't really pertain to this story.
Okay.
But so
thanks
we were,
for bringing him
yeah,
up.
right. I'm sorry.
Glad.
So
What was his name?
I don't know.
Yeah.
So we were watching The Breakfast Club on the couch,
Text the
and she
picture
like
so I
does
can
this
put it up.
weird like burrito roll up thing, and like
A burrito
grapples
roll-
me. It was a fat joke, and I'm sorry, and like grapples me.
Are you the meat in her burrito?
Yeah, did she like spoon
She was
you
the
like
meat in my
talking about?
burrito.
Yeah.
No, okay, so then she's like, so things start getting like we start kissing, and this whole time I love The Breakfast Club, like the movie. I love the movie.
Okay.
And I'm like, I'm into this movie. I'm like she's like on top of me, and I'm into this
This
movie.
does not seem like a Brett
Dude,
Zawolski
you must.
movie.
But were you sweating? Was it hot in there? Well, she's got she was covering you.
No,
like
it was Thanksgiving.
Oh, so it was a little bit.
So
yeah.
it was like
So
it
you
was,
were probably
it was
thankful.
nippy.
You
Yes.
were like Luke inside the tauntaun.
That was literally what it was like. So she
Yeah.
was like, "We should move this to the bedroom." And
Yeah.
mind you, I'm like, I didn't bring a condom.
Hopefully not as smelly. But go on.
And I was like, "No, still smelling." No, I'm kidding. So I'm like, I didn't bring a condom because I was like, I don't plan on like sleeping with this chick. Like, yeah, I was a fuckboy, but I was like, I'm not sleeping with this chick.
Yeah.
And of course, she's like, I have a condom, and it was like, phew, and I was like, and I'm like, you fucking kidding me? And so she had a condom, and then we ended up sleeping together, and then the front door opens. And she goes, "Oh shit, that's my dad." And I'm like, "Oh, of course, because why wouldn't it be?"
Right.
Yeah,
So
right.
he comes and he knocks on the door, and mind
probably
you,
shake your
I'm
fucking
still,
hand.
I'm still in this girl.
Thank you.
Right.
Like, I'm still in here, and he knocks on the door. He's like, "Hey, what are you guys doing in there?" And my first reaction is to say, "We're watching The Breakfast Club. Breakfast Club's playing in the living room. She has no TV in her room."
Oh, shit.
I realized I fucked up.
Right.
He goes, "Oh, all right, cool," and walks away. The instant I hear him walk away, I'm like, oh, I'm fucked. I'm fucked. The instant he walks into the living room and sees that The Breakfast Club is playing,
Yeah.
I'm fucked. So I throw on my pants, forget my shirt, and, like, run out of this girl's house. And that was my story.
Wow. And you haven't seen her since.
No, literally, she texted me the next day and she was like, "Hey, we should get food." And I'm like,
Oh.
no.
No.
I'm like, no.
The Breakfast Club.
Oh, the poor thing.
Right? Have you watched The Breakfast Club since, or has this tarnished
Yeah.
your
I
memory
honestly
of the
haven't.
movie?
I honestly haven't.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll ever watch The Breakfast Club again.
Where did your brain churn from I'm not sleeping with this girl to all of a sudden I'm sleeping with
She
her?
was literally on top of me, and of course, it was
I think Brecca raped.
It was fight
Yeah.
or flight. She was
flight.
she was crushing my chest, and I needed her to get off at some point. So I was like, fine, like
Fighting was banging her.
I'm just picturing Brett's like a pelican and she's a walrus or something.
that's
He's like,
literally
"All right."
Yeah.
that's literally what happened. So your guys' turn.
I think you're up, Jeremy.
Yeah, mine are nowhere near as epic or as lengthy.
No,
Can't top that.
I just had a few like
I think mine's
mini
gonna
ones,
be depressing by comparison.
right?
Yeah.
I got just a few little mini
Sure,
ones.
so hook it up.
Well, everybody's done the classic. I can't remember when, but when you first said this, I remember it blew my mind because I was thinking early in the day, I wonder about a topic, and I was thinking the same exact
Where we
thing
go
you
with
would
this?
text. No,
I'm so
a
confused.
few things popped into my head, and one of which, obviously, everybody did the classic. I remember when I was about 16, I said, "Oh, trying to be polite to a woman." I don't remember much of the scenario, but, "Oh, when are you having your baby?" And she wasn't pregnant.
I've
Yeah.
never
That happened,
said that
and I
just
did
because
it.
I have a fear of
Right.
fucking up.
Yeah.
Because knowing me, I'd be like, "When are you having a baby?" She'd be like, "I'm not," and I'd be like, "Oh, you have a beer belly then."
You should just never say it.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah,
Ever.
no, you
Ever.
just,
From-
unless it's like visibly like it's
Oh,
just
obvious.
like they're like,
she's
"Oh, like I'm
118
carrying-"
pounds, except the belly.
Yeah, exactly. Like unless
When-
it's like that.
Nope. Even when that happens, I walk up like when I'm waiting tables. I walk up to my table and go, "Hey, we having some sangria tonight?" And they're like, "Oh, I'm not." And then if she points to her belly, I'm like, "Did it?" I go.
What if she was like, "Oh, I'm not. I'm full."
Yeah, I've ate too much.
No, I always say the exact same thing. 'Cause
Eaten.
I just say, "Sorry, I didn't notice." Period. Period. End of story. Because I'm not going to be the
Would
one
you say, "Damn, ma, that stomach looking fly"?
Because here's the other side of it. If she wants to drink while she's pregnant, I'm also not going to tell her not to.
Right.
That's not my job.
Yeah.
That's not
Yeah,
my
true.
job. You want to
Yeah.
fucking kill that kid? That's
Right.
totally
You
your
wanna be a
call.
little
Drink
piece
up.
of shit. Yeah.
If it was me, I would serve her and then immediately tell my manager. I'd be like, "Just let you know,
Yep.
she's okay with that.
Yeah.
Like, don't fuck with me."
I'm not forcing it down
Yeah.
her throat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Exactly.
you said that. So you said this to a
I
woman.
did that. Yeah.
Okay.
And that was just one mini one. Another one that was later in life. I was probably in my
Same scenario, same woman.
earlier 20s.
She's on our third baby.
I was with a
She's
kid.
still fat. No babies.
Well, the kid that was kind of my friend, for the most part a friend, and going through a McDonald's drive-in. And I had
No, drive-in.
drive right into this one. The
You
change
just
of
go
oil.
and play the sneak king game on a giant fucking screen.
Yeah, no shit. And I had frequented this McDonald's prior because I worked near there. So
Have you always been in the area?
in that
Living
area,
wise? Like in this area?
yes, but
Okay.
it wasn't here. It was out in another town.
Okay.
And so,
Because I knew you lived in like.
oh yeah, you
Alabama.
lived far
I
away.
lived in Tennessee for
Tennessee.
like 5 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Did you grow up here?
Yep. I'm from here. I left, came back.
Can't escape.
I have a pretty simple life story.
Worcester.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So I've been in this drive-through before,
I really love the game, guys.
and there was this. Anyways, I don't know how to set this story up. So I order my thing, and immediately after I order my shit, I said to this kid, I'm like, "Ah, fuck." I'm like, "It's this fucking girl working." I'm like, "This girl always just talking, and like hitting on me, like wanting to give me her number, all this bullshit."
Why didn't you?
And I'm like, she's really. I was
She was lemon, sir.
I was pretty mean. I was pretty mean, so I'm like, oh,
actually a
she's
girl.
just fucking. Yeah. This woman is gross and ugly. Ugh. And I'm like, and she's fucking pregnant. Somebody fucked her. I kept going. I mean, I was just unleashing my fury.
No.
And the kid goes, dude, that's my sister.
No, come on.
Swear to fucking God, the
I
kid's
thought it
name
was
is
gonna
Bryan.
be one of. I thought it was gonna be one of the things where like you realized that your window was down and you were talking to this chick.
Her.
I was spooling my.
Just
what did
my
he say?
hate.
Just as bad.
He literally said, "Don't worry, I think the same shit."
Wow.
And that was it.
You were in the
Walked
clear.
down.
Never
You
did we
were-
bring it up.
It was either that or you were getting a swift right hook to the jaw. Like,
Yeah, that was another one.
Yeah, you lucked out big time.
oh
One
my
more
God, yeah,
other
you
one.
did.
Yeah.
I might have a second one after that,
That's fine.
actually. So there was this other one where I was probably 18 or 19, and I'm at Thanksgiving dinner, actually,
Oh boy.
at my grandparents' house. My parents, my sister, my aunt and uncle, who, you know, are wealthy and very successful business people and worldly travelers and all that bullshit, right? My grandfather and grandmother, the same thing, you know? And so, you know, me, 18, 19, whatever, sitting at the table, and they were normal banter back and forth of a delightful conversation. And
Like a white people dinner.
yeah, it was like that
Only
kind of
white
shit.
people do that.
Talking about their travels and places they'd gone and all this shit.
Yep.
And then my grandfather had talked about, because he was a salesman, and at one point he had said how he had gone into a convention and he was there for a while and he realized it was nobody there he recognized, blah blah blah. And then he said he found out that it was a gynecological
They have those?
yes, little booth thing. And then I said, what were they serving for lunch? Roast beef. And
Why the
no
fuck
one
would you
fucking,
say that to your grandparents?
No, I felt a sudden urge to be like, I need to say this. It's fucking
It's a
funny.
great joke. It's a
And
great joke.
No one laughed. It was silent. They didn't laugh. And then my aunt, my mother's sister, started fucking burst out laughing because she's got very similar to me, and I think she tried holding it together. Yeah.
She was probably like, "This fuck just said that." And like, she's
Well,
like,
you know what's funny? That moment was very much teaching me the take the risk. You know what I mean?
maybe I shouldn't have said that.
Hit or miss, who gives a fuck? Just say it.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, which comes in handy around on this podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that.
dirty Mexican twice.
Oh. Yeah. Well, see, that's the hit of the miss. You know, there's the miss.
It's miss.
Yeah.
Don't worry, there's a hit. It's on you.
Yeah. There was a fourth I remembered that I now don't remember.
Well,
Might
there
come back
will
to me.
be breaks in my story where there will be plenty of time for you to tell it. I've got two, and the funnier one and the shorter one of the two is that one time in college. I mean, I've always been a bad drunk, right? Really bad. I always drank to the point of like blacking out. My senior year in college was especially bad, and there was one time where I apparently had gone outside in the middle of the night in my boxer shorts to have a cigarette and don't even remember it, and locked myself out of the dorm room. I couldn't get back into the building, and so the next morning I woke up in this girl's bed in my dorm, right, with her.
Impressive.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess. I mean, I was blacked out, and but the best part was that my the RD from my dorm,
Oh yeah.
the resident director, he comes knocking on her door and is like, "Is Bryan in here?" And she says, "Yes." What's going on? He goes, "I found his boxer shorts in the bush in front of the building." And so, piecing this all together, I went out for a cigarette, couldn't get back in. I climbed into the window through a bush and sacrificing my boxer shorts on the climb into the window, walking around my dorm now naked. Just was like, well, I'm already naked. I'm going to head up to that girl's room. And that was that story.
That's phenomenal.
It's a pretty good one.
Not bad, right?
That's a good story.
that's a good story.
The
'cause
fact
you
that she wanted to have sex with me in that state
were-
means I must have been all right.
Yeah, right.
So the other story,
Yeah.
and this one is this is awful. Here we go. And I apologize to everybody in my family and to my parents before I tell this.
Shit.
Another drunk story. This is only a few years ago. I've only been sober for 3 years, so maybe this was 5 years ago, something along those lines.
Yeah.
Extremely intoxicated evening. I obviously come home from work. I brought vodka and beer and everything, and I like to drink alone. I didn't like anyone to be part of my...
That's how I was.
It still wasn't social or anything. I just wanted to be drunk alone. playing video games. It's all right. You want to invite somebody onto the podcast? So I never like to invite anybody into my like debauchery. It's just bad news, and sometimes I wake up. Sometimes I'd wake up and there'd be like a pizza there, and I'd be like, "Holy shit!" I'm like, "I ordered a pizza."
Have you? Yeah.
I've ordered a pizza blacked out. And
I've ordered Amazon things before drunk, and then like it come in a week, and I'd be like, "Yes, Brett, yes!" Like,
or like go drunk Brett,
or like drunk Brett will like because I don't drink like anymore. I think I've been like a month without alcohol, and I don't plan on drinking ever again because it's shitty for me and it fucks with my heart.
Yeah, especially. Mm-hmm.
But like, there's been times where like I'll be wasted, somehow make it to 7-Eleven by myself, like. An array, a buffet of like things that'll make me feel better in the morning, and then I wake up and it's all in my bed and I'm like
ready to go.
Well
like drunk Brett came in fucking clutch. I'm like cradling a 40-ounce Gatorade, like a super big gulp.
I've woken up next to an empty pizza box, not remembering having A, ordered the pizza, or B, eaten the pizza. And the delivery guy knew me really well, but I've never seen him before.
He was like, "Brian," you're
like, "What's up, man?"
I was always tipping him well, apparently, because I don't fucking remember. So it was one of those.
You weren't answering like you'd.
You just butt
room.
naked.
Hey.
You're like, "Just put the pizza on my dick." They're like, "Sir, you can't do that."
Yeah, right.
But it's your tip.
Hey,
my tip is your tip.
Yeah.
So this was an especially bad night, and apparently there was no pizza to be had because I decided in my almost blacked out state that I needed to go to McDonald's.
Oh no!
Okay.
Now McDonald's is about 4 miles away. Yeah. It is not right around the corner. This was a bad move by all decision makers involved.
Yeah.
Me.
Yeah.
And so I drive super drunk to McDonald's, and when you go to McDonald's drunk, you don't get like a double cheeseburger. You get like a bag of 10 different things, right? Because you fucking
everything looks good.
You risked the law. You risked going to jail for this trip. You better fucking spend $20 while you're there, and you order 20 things on the value menu.
You can get a lot of shit for $20 at fucking McDonald's.
So I make it back home. I have a huge sack.
Not even a bag. A sack.
Right, a satchel. Right?
A satchel of food.
It is dripping grease. It's dripping grease, and I'm just like I'm like overweight and like disgusting and carrying McDonald's, and I'm gross, and I go up to my door and I'm happy because I made it and I've got my food and I can't wait to eat it. I put my key in the door lock. I turn it to unlock it and I break the key off in the fucking door. In the deadbolt, the key is broken off.
What do you do at that point?
At this point, when I'm not in a relationship, no one has a spare key except for my parents.
Oh no!
I had to call my parents, and I had
What time was this again?
Probably like close to midnight.
Okay.
So then they knew that you were drunk driving.
So they show up, and they're like, and now they are like super parents, like, you know, superhuman parents, because my dad...
You should come home and stay with us.
My dad is the opposite of me. My dad is like prepared for every situation and doesn't like drink or anything like that. He's like very responsible, and he shows up with like a lockpick set. I never knew my dad to have a lockpick set, but here he is. He's like, I'm prepared for every occasion. Right?
You're like, no shit.
He's got a flare, spare batteries, and a flashlight in his trunk.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Flare.
Right?
Road
like
flare.
a flare gun.
He gets down on his hands and knees, and he's investigating this while my mom's talking to me, and she's like, McDonald's, huh? And I'm like, yep. And she's like, been drinking? It's like, yeah. She's like, how did you get to McDonald's? I was like, I don't know.
Good answer.
I might have driven. I'm like, I'm embarrassed. I'm sorry. Just like, can we please just do this kind of thing?
That's like a sad embarrassing though, because like I've done that so many times.
Embarrassing.
Like, it's so hard like looking at your family and be like, yeah, I drove home drunk.
Yeah.
Because I did it like honestly when I was at Picado, I did it almost every night.
Oh, me too.
And it was like I would literally get texts and I would have to like I was on the bathroom floor trying to tell my mom that trying to rationalize with my mom that it was okay, right? That the car was on the lawn.
Yep.
And it's just a shitty feeling, and that's why I don't drink anymore.
Yeah, and I knew this was like, I mean, like I was glad you guys had some funny stories to tell before this.
No,
because,
I think it's good to have a story like that because it's like a wake up call. Really, it's like
it really is.
You know, like
So the worst part is that I'd been on such
dropped your McDonald's.
I'd been on such a bender for so long that like like my dad, like immediately he's like, I got the key out of the lock, and here's the spare, and boom, here you go. And as soon as he opened the door, I was like, thanks guys, and I tried to like send them on their way because I knew it was on the other side of this door.
Yeah,
it was fucking like, you see my apartment, it's messy, but that's because I'm running a YouTube channel. That's because I'm like working a full-time job.
Exactly.
Yeah. You know
but it's not lazy messy.
When my apartment is messy, it means that other things in my life are going really well.
Yeah.
Then. That's not what this meant.
It was just lazy.
This meant that I was fucking drinking too much and probably smoking too much and doing everything wrong in my life, and it was a mess. They opened the door, and I kid you not, there was like marinara that had been like spilled from something like from 7 days ago, and it was just dried on the apartment, and it was like there was clothes strewn out everywhere. Like it was this, but it was like disgusting. This, and like the look on my mom's face, like I will never forget it, and I just remember being so embarrassed. Being like, this is what my life has come to.
Yeah.
And as soon as they left, I was like so happy that they were gone. But my mom shows up at like 7 a.m. the next day, and she with big yellow rubber gloves.
Oh jeez.
And a bucket with cleaning supplies. And she's like, "You're hungover. You can lay in bed.
Yeah.
But I'm cleaning your apartment because I'm your mother and I'm going to take care of this." And I was like, this is officially the most embarrassing 24 hours of my life.
And that's the thing. It's not even, like, embarrassing per se. Like, it's like, because there's a difference. There's, like, funny, embarrassing stories, and then there's just, like, sad, embarrassing. Because I've had plenty of those moments where I've had to, like, argue with my mom and be like, no, I'm good to drive. Right. And I'm literally laying on the bathroom floor.
Yep.
And it's just, it's almost degrading, really, because it's just, like, I thought it was okay. I was like, you know what? I'm like, I'll be fine if I crash and die. I crash and die, but I didn't think about like I could crash and kill other people. I could kill a family. Yeah, like it's I'm glad I don't. I'm glad you don't drink. I'm glad I don't drink. It's just it's a shitty thing. There's no need for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because I don't know if I'm joking or what it is, but I say almost every day that I miss alcohol. Like alcohol.
No,
I loved it.
I miss alcohol.
Yeah, it was.
And I've only been without it for a month. Every time I'm at and my friends still drink, and every time I go out, or every time I'm at a party, or every time I'm anywhere, it's still fucking like I can't like.
It makes you have more fun. It makes you have a good time, but the fucking repercussions are insane. And the fact that I don't have a DUI, the fact that I didn't kill anyone, the fact that I'm still alive is mind-boggling. Yeah. Mind-boggling on so many levels, and I don't know how I survived this long. No. I feel super lucky, and this was like my embarrassing story, and like this doesn't even like fucking scrape the surface. Yeah. There are 15 years of daily blackouts that with millions of stories. And this is just like the worst of the group. Yeah. So I mean, if anybody's listening out there, and this is like a wake up call for you, fucking wake up.
Yeah. We do joke a lot. Yeah. But when it comes to alcohol and drugs, I I agree. I have the most addictive personality ever, and it's so hard to stop, especially when you surround yourself with people who drink and smoke. Yep. And it's so difficult. And that's the thing, because I'll be at a party, and people are like, "Oh, why don't you have a drink in here? Let me buy you a drink." And then I have to explain to someone why they shouldn't buy me a drink, why I'm drinking straight cranberry juice like a child, because it's just one of those things where like I know if I have one drink, I'm gonna have 8 drinks, and I'm an idiot. I will drive home. So. Oh yeah. Yep. So yeah, if anyone's out there and they are struggling, leave a comment below. No, I'm kidding. Seriously, but just like tell someone, talk to someone.
Yeah, and I mean like
it doesn't need to be us. Just talk to someone, because it helps. Because especially like when with drinking, I was like a quiet, like I wasn't like I kind of was to myself, because like I like how you said you like drinking alone. I didn't like drinking with other people. I'd rather sit home and pound 5 Four Locos and then play video games and then somehow wake up the next morning
and do it all over again. Yeah. Yeah, honestly, like talk to somebody, and you know, I'm more than happy to talk to you. You know, friend me on Facebook. You know, like do whatever it takes. We'll.
You can't get a hold of me.
Nope, can't get.
Yeah, but you can get a hold of us.
Social media,
and we do have fun. We do, you know, have like joke around a lot. But when it comes to serious shit, we are serious. Yeah. Yeah.
So for the most serious episode of the Midnight Gamescast, my name's Bryan Paul.
Jeremy King.
I'm Brett Zawilski.
We'll see you next week.